Hello, welcome to anyone that's live. I've just started the YouTube one a little bit early, and we'll get onto Instagram in just a second. But do introduce yourself as you've come live onto YouTube. We thought we'd try something new for the YouTubers who aren't on Facebook today. And we'll get onto Instagram in just a second, so bear with us. If you are live with me on YouTube, hello. If you wouldn't mind just saying hello so I know that you can definitely hear me and see me on YouTube. We are about to go live in just a couple of minutes. If you wouldn't mind popping a message on the right-hand side in the comment box. If you're here on YouTube, just let me know that you can definitely hear me and that you can definitely see me. We're going to go live on Instagram now. Hello everyone on Instagram. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Spice Club live cookery class. Let me come into view, just pinning a comment. Hello, how are we doing? Welcome back to the Spice Club live cookery school. I'm back in my living room today, out from my actual kitchen, back into the living room. It's a bit of a dreary day here in Birmingham. But hello, how are you doing? Please let me know where you're tuning in from today. Please give me a like in the comments. Give me a wave. Let me know that you're here so I can see whereabouts you guys are and where you're tuning in from today. It's looking, pretty grim here in Brum. Not the most pleasant of days. I feel like these cookery classes that we've been doing, these lives, every time we've just been having the most amazing weather, but it's been not so beautiful today. So please let me know, where are you tuning in from? We are also live on, hello YouTube crew, sorry you can't see my face. We're also live and broadcasting on YouTube today for the first time in a while. I've been getting a lot of comments from people saying that they don't have Facebook, so they've not been able to access the classes. So if you don't have Facebook, we're here on YouTube. YouTubers, hi Kay. If you could pop me a comment, just let me know that you can see me and hear me. For those of you on Instagram, hi, Linda. Michelle, good to see you. Yeah, no problem, Michelle. We'll see you later. Hi, Dad. Hi, Lauren. Good to see you. Justine, Nikki. Hi, Nikki. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hi, Helen. Ian. Ed from Antrobus. Where is that, Ed? Hi, AJ. Hi, Sam. Hi, Mark. Yeah, really looking forward to having you back in Brum soon. Cookery class doors will be open very soon. We've got Valentina in Scotland, raining there too. I know it's a bit miserable here. Hi Jackie, how's it going? Hey Joel, Prestwich looking grim as well. Yeah, it's not the best day for weather, but in today's class we are most certainly going to inject some colour into our Friday, which is looking pretty grey. Hi Jane in Solihull. Hi Graham, Sheena. Michael, we'll just give it maybe a minute more just to get it a little bit more populated. Hi Hazel, Jill, Shirley, Christine, who's in Droitwich. Anyone further afield, not in the UK? We've got any international peeps here? Sometimes we do attract a couple of people. Hi Becky, welcome back. Hi Zoe, how you doing? Hi Mum. How's your weeks been? Have you guys been able to kind of go out and see any family? It's looking like lockdown is beginning to lift a little bit. Are you guys getting out a bit more? Are you feeling a bit more confident about going out now lockdown is kind of beginning to lift, or are you still feeling a bit nervous? It's a bit of a funny time as lockdown begins to lift. How have you guys been getting on? And also, hi Moira. Yeah, Shirley's from Tampa in Florida. I know, Graham, I agree. I've actually had to put the heating on today for the first time in a long time. Hi, Steve and Leamington Spa. Carolyn, good to see you. So many regulars are coming back. Hi, Rachel and Ruth. Welcome back. Fantastic. If you are new to today's class, please let me know in the comments. Say, yes, I'm new. And if you are cooking, please pop a C in the comments. I want to know who's cooking with me. If you're just watching today, pop a W in the comments for me. Same thing goes on YouTube, guys. Hi, Stuart and Kay from Warrington. Glad that you guys can see me and that you can hear me as well. So I will be kind of flipping between Instagram and YouTube. But let me know if you're watching. If you want to cook later, this class will be available to watch later on both YouTube and Instagram as well. So if you feel like you just want to watch, you haven't got the ingredients ready, that's fine. You can just make it whenever you want to, okay? So I think we're going to get started. Lots of you are cooking, fantastic. Hi, Denise, using the homemade garam masala, thank you, that's great. Fantastic, we will get started. Jill, I'm so glad that you got to see your mum in a care home. That's really nice. That must have been quite special. It's been a bit difficult. All right, we're going to get started. If you have any questions throughout the class, if you are cooking, please feel free to ask. I will try my absolute best to answer questions. And for the rest of you, if you see a comment that I've missed, a question that I've missed, if you wouldn't mind, you know the answer, you could pop it in there. Mum, I'm looking at you. You can trawl through the comments. Mum told me before the class today, just be careful with dropping things. She said it in a very subtle way, because for those of you that tuned in with me last time, I had sort of a butterfinger situation. So holding on firm today. Thanks, Mum. Love it when mums do that. Okay, let's get started. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Monica. I run the Spice Club Indian Cookery School in Manchester and also in Birmingham. For me, the ethos for the Spice Club has always been to showcase home-style, regional Indian cooking. So we're talking Indian food from all over India. And it really does vary from state to state, and then also within states, the micro cuisines are very different spices, different ways of using them. And then also it's about family recipes. So I'm here to really share all those wonderful recipes that I grew up eating, the kind of food that, you know, my grandma taught my mum, and then my mum taught me. So a lot of home recipes, a lot of things that you don't typically see in restaurants as well. And with every cookery class that I do at the Spice Club, we travel from state to state or region to region. And so I don't just do general curry cookery classes. I always kind of home in on a certain state, or maybe it might be street food or something like that, to really show that Indian food it's more than this word curry that we use as a blanket term. And I break everything down for you. Cooking Indian food's not scary, I promise. And I try and make it as easy as possible. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing today, because we're going to make our South Indian king prawn thokku. Has anyone heard of this dish before? Has anyone heard of it? Has anyone made it? Has anyone eaten it? Let me know in the comments. How have you guys made any type of Indian prawn dish? It's a beautiful, fragrant dish. We're going to cook it in a typical South Indian recipe, method of cooking this. I learned this recipe when I spent the summer in Chennai last year. So Chennai is in the south of India. It's a wonderful, wonderful recipe that I was taught by a Tamilian chef when I actually did a course at the IIHT hotel management catering school over in Chennai. And this was a wonderful prawn dish that stuck with me, and I make it all the time. So easy, so simple, and I want to show it to you today. So should we get started, guys? I think a lot of you are cooking, some of you are watching. Fantastic. So most of you haven't heard of this dish before, but that's okay. We're going to cook it together now, and hopefully once you've made it and you've eaten it, it'll become part of your cooking repertoire as well. Fingers crossed for me, that's my goal anyway. For you guys on YouTube as well, Kay, Sue, Stuart and Kay, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to ask you to get your king prawns. On the ingredients list, I asked for you to have your king prawns deshelled, deveined, and king prawns as well. So you don't have to use king prawns, but you know, the bigger the better, I always say. And I've actually got tail on. In the south, in the east of India, they do appreciate shell and tail actually. but I've taken the shell off just to get more flavour to the prawn. And tail just catches a lot of flavour as well, but it doesn't matter. You can have it without tail as well. But raw is important. The reason why raw is important is because we're going to marinate these prawns and we're going to get them really wonderfully flavoured. So when we do make the sauce and we add the marinated prawns to the sauce, when you bite into the prawns, it's not just the sauce. The prawns are really seasoned from the inside. Okay, so let's get started with our marination. So it's a very, very easy and simple marination. For those of you who've been to my classes before, you might have a spice box. These are fantastic because they keep your spices airtight, and they also just allow easy access of your everyday spices, so you don't have to start looking for the jar in that back of that cupboard that's been there for God knows how long. So in the spice box, the first thing that we're going to get from it is our salt, or you might just have this on the side. So in your prawns, and I've told you to have maybe around 180, 190 grams of prawns here, we're going to add in about half a teaspoon of salt. So salt's going in first. This is going to be followed by half a teaspoon of turmeric, quarter to half a teaspoon of turmeric. So that's going to go in. We always tend to do our marinations of seafood. So any fish, any prawns, the basic marinade is always salt and turmeric. You'll see this in Bengali cookery. You'll see it in South Indian cookery, whether they're preparing any sort of fish curry, any prawn curry. They will always marinate the fish or the prawn in salt and turmeric. Next thing we're going to do is add in, and this is if you like a little bit of chili. If you don't, you can just omit this, but we're going to add in a little bit of chili powder. And I'm going to add in not more than a quarter teaspoon of chili powder because we are going to add fresh green chilies as well. So I don't want to go crazy. Next thing, once all of our seasonings in, we're going to add in some yogurt. So we only need about a teaspoon or so. And I've got Greek yogurt here. Let me just make sure you guys are all good. So if you're doing paneer, you can marinate the paneer as well, absolutely. With the potatoes, you're going to omit this marination section and you're just going to go straight to the sauce, and we'll add the potatoes in when we add the marinated prawns in. How are we doing? So yeah, let's just go with exactly the same method that we're doing. First time cooking and eating a prawn curry, Jane. Excellent. Yeah, Karen, so if you're doing paneer, just do exactly the same thing that we're doing. So this sauce is amazing because you can use it for so many different ingredients. Prawns, potatoes, paneer works really, really well. So I'm just going to do a teaspoon and about a quarter of Greek yogurt. Okay, this is going to help all of our spices come together. Just going to use the same spoon and mix everything really, really well. So it's a very quick marination. You don't have to do it ahead of time. You can just do it before you start cooking your masala. And just make sure the prawn is really well coated in the salt, the turmeric, and the chili as well. So turmeric is a natural antiseptic, especially in the days of, when you didn't have cold storage in India, when they used to, fish prawns, fish for seafood. And it was a way of making sure you could clean the seafood. So they would use the turmeric to actually clean the fish. And it's still now added for that reason, but also added to add flavour and also a little bit of colour as well. Sometimes my students ask me, what does turmeric do to a dish? What flavour is it adding? And it actually adds like a nice earthy flavour. If you ever buy a bag of turmeric or a bottle of turmeric, as soon as you open it, smell it, that's the pure sort of earthy flavour you'll get. That's how you know what turmeric smells like. So about a teaspoon and a quarter, Jane, for your Greek yogurt. So this is what your prawns look like. I'll show it to YouTube first and over to Instagram. This is what the prawns look like once they're all marinated. Same with your paneer, and you're just going to keep it on the side, okay? Just going to pop it on the side now. So the marination for the prawns is all done. If you could pop me a thumbs up or a yes in the comments just to let me know that, yes, you have got to where I am. I've not rushed too much. It's always difficult to tell when you're doing a live class, when your students aren't in front of you, if you are following along. Yes, Sue. Yeah, you could use this masala for, so Sue just asked, could you use this for fish instead? So I would say absolutely. You could use a nice white flaky fish with this. It would work incredibly well. Okay, I think we're getting lots of thumbs up. Perfect. So we are all ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our pan nice and hot now. So I've got a nice non-stick pan, and we're going to get some oil in there. So roughly about 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil. I'm using a neutral oil today, so something like a sunflower. You could use an olive if you liked. But I'm using something quite neutral. All right, so maybe I'm going to eyeball this, but roughly about 4 tablespoons or so. We can always add more if we need more. So I hope you guys on YouTube can see as well. I will get a better angle next time. It's the first time we're doing it on YouTube, so do bear with me. We will get it right. How are we doing, guys? Lovely, we're all up to here, fantastic. Hi Rohit, how you doing? Okay, lovely. So whilst this is getting hot, I'm just going to talk to you about the first set of ingredients that are going to go in the pan, okay? So spice-wise, let's talk about spices. Let's do it in order, okay? So it's less confusing. All right, so first thing, and this method of tempering that we're going to do now, and what I mean by tempering is it basically means to fry your spices to get all that flavour out of them. So when you're tempering, the first thing that we need to do is make sure your oil is hot. Heat is what really brings out flavour. So if you're putting mustard oils into cold oil, nothing happens. Make sure the oil is nice and hot. Then when you put the mustard seeds in, what do? Yeah, they pop, they explode everywhere. It's best not to do it in your living room. Ideally, you're in the kitchen when you're doing this. But yeah, you want to make sure your oil is nice and hot. So we're going to, in a moment, we're going to do it together. We're going to put in a teaspoon of mustard seeds, okay? So once the mustard seeds go in, we're going to very, very quickly add in about 1/4 teaspoon of cumin seeds, okay? And if you only have mustard seeds in, that's fine. I'm using black. You can use brown. Black is the most pungent. You get the most flavour, that lovely warming mustard flavour. Once that cumin's gone in, we are going to act very, very quickly, and we're going to add in, if you are using curry leaves, so curry leaves are quintessential South Indian ingredient. I have said it's optional only because it's difficult to get here in the UK, unfortunately. If you're in Birmingham like me, we're quite lucky that we have amazing shops. Or if you're in Bolton, you can usually get it from Bolton Market. I know some of you are around Bolton way. So fresh curry leaves, we want about 20 of them. We're going to put about 10 of them in with the oil, and we're going to put 10 of them in later on, okay? And we're just going to put them in whole, all right? And we're going to put in the onions next. So mustard seeds, cumin seeds, half of your curry leaves, and your onions. Now, if you're using dry curry leaves, I did mention, if you soak them, you don't have to do this if you haven't done it, but if you soak them in a little bit of warm water ahead of time, and then drain them, and then put them in your food, it just helps to rehydrate them, so you get a little bit more flavour. Dry curry leaves, generally speaking, don't compare to fresh. So yeah, and when I was in South India it was this time last year actually. If you go to this is the best thing. If you go to a supermarket or just a normal market in Chennai, and you pick up your vegetables and you go and pay the till, with the receipt they give you like a branch of curry leaves. Like, thank you for coming. Here's hundreds of curry leaves. And so yeah, it was amazing. I definitely didn't smuggle any through customs when I came back. Yeah, so curry leaves are amazing. They're just in abundance there. So if we're ready to go, my oil is, I turned it off because I was jibber jabbering, but oil, we need to get that back up to temperature, and we just make sure that we have everything ready because we do not want anything to burn. So always make sure my onions are already chopped, and always make sure I have everything nearby. The last thing you want is for your mustard seeds and your cumin seeds to be in the hot oil, and then you're like, I've not got my onions ready. They're just going to burn. So just make sure you have everything here. Jackie, you've got dried and you've soaked in, fantastic. Has anyone managed to get fresh? I know Patrick said you did. Yeah, Moira, see, some Sainsbury's do sell fresh curry leaves, that's right. Yeah, so Mike, that's a good shout. Frozen curry leaves are also a good idea. Just be mindful, and especially if you've recently washed your curry leaves, they will splatter in the hot oil. So either have your lid at the ready or just stand back, okay? But yeah, whenever I buy these, I buy a couple of packets and wash, dry, and freeze. They freeze really well. Okay, my oil is nice and hot. I'm going to add in level teaspoon of mustard seeds. I'm going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. I'm going to add in half of my curry leaves, 10, 12. You can hear that crackle. I want to add in all of my onions. So thin sliced onions. I've gone for thin and sliced. This is how I was taught. And also, you really get a lovely texture of the sauce there. So, it smells amazing. Curry mustard seeds, cumin seeds, curry leaves, and onions. That is my that is my favourite smell in hot oil when it's tempering. This screams out South Indian cuisine. It's like this classic tempering that we see. Has anyone who's watching been to our South Indian cookery class? I know Patrick has. Or maybe the coastal class or the dosa class that I do. You may have seen or you may have cooked with me when we did this exact same preparation. So in this pan, I'm just going to very quickly show you over here and you guys over here. Oil. Doesn't look like there's too much oil. There's enough to make sure that things aren't burning. If you feel like your pan's a bit dry, just add a couple more teaspoons of oil in there. It should never look like anything is burning or charring, because what will happen is your spices will burn and they will become bitter. And that's the last thing that we want. Just going to take a quick run of your... Claire, you got yours from the local supermarket. Fantastic. Mark, you got yours from Redditch. Amazing. So you're not far from me. Jackie has. Yeah, you've been to a South Indian class. Linda, you're hoping to. We're going to get you on, Linda, I promise. Kate, Stuart's been to a class. Amazing. Was it a one-to-one class that you came to, Stuart? Remind me. Fantastic. So we want to soften our onions now. A little trick for speeding up the cooking process whenever you're cooking onions for any type of dish. I've just reduced the heat slightly. It's on a low to medium heat, by the way. Is if you add a little bit of salt, so maybe half the salt that's required in the recipe. If you add it in with the onions, it helps to draw out the moisture, and as a result, they cook quicker. So I'm going to add in roughly around half a teaspoon of salt. Just a pinch more. So this will help our onions soften. So we can see, I can see, I hope you can see as well, that our onions are soft. They're getting soft. They're getting to that translucent stage. And there's a little bit of colour on there as well. All right. If your onions are looking like my onions, if you could pop a quick Y for me in the comments or give me a thumbs up, just so I know that you are at the stage where I am. And that you should still have a little bit of oil in the pan, because we need to now add in the ginger and the garlic. So if your pan looks a bit dry and you think, I don't think I have enough oil to cook the ginger and garlic, just add a couple more teaspoons in now so it can get nice and hot, and then add your ginger and garlic in. So I did ask you to grate 2 cloves of garlic, roughly about a couple of teaspoons, and about 2 centimeters of ginger. And we're going to pop those in now. Okay. So once your onions are nice and soft, and I can see some thumbs up coming in, so that means that you guys are with me, we're going to add in the ginger and the garlic. So I always like to use a grater or a micro grater and just kind of make that ginger and garlic into a paste. You do get these ginger and garlic pastes in supermarkets. It smells amazing. You just need to be mindful. I mean, yes, it does cut down on cooking time when you use pre-made ginger and pre-made garlic pastes. But just be mindful of when you buy them. Are they stored in vinegar? Are they stored in oil? Have they got any, preservatives in them? Because they can change the taste, especially those that are stored in vinegar. When you add them to your masala, this thokku that we're making here, it adds tartness where you don't really want it. So it's always better to go fresh. And if you buy a lot of it, you can just grate it down and pop it in the freezer. So you always have ginger paste in and garlic paste in as well. One thing that I always mention to my students, and I've mentioned it on here as well, is to, if you grate your ginger and garlic and put it in freezer bags and pat them flat and then put them in the freezer, you can break shards off of the ginger and garlic, and it's really, really easy. Okay, so I'm just going to put my heat on a low heat now because I want to talk about the coriander that we're going to add in. We're just going to add in the stems of the coriander. If you've got a little bunch, very, very finely chop the stems, okay? We're not going to put the leaves in because we've got curry leaves in there, and so they'll be too overpowering flavors. So we're just going to let the stems add a bit of flavor but not be too overpowering. So I'm going to finely chop the stems over here. If you don't have fresh coriander in, you can just miss this step out. It just adds a little bit of freshness and loads of flavor as well. I never, ever throw my stems of coriander away. So finally chop them, put them in. Also, if I can ask you to start on your tomato as well. Can you see how small my tomato is? It's quite small. It's not quite as small as a cherry, but it is, you know, it's not too big. It's not like a salad tomato, okay? So what do we say, Mike? Is there any difference between grated garlic or if it's put through a press? Just texture. Press might be slightly more pastier, slightly more finer. But if you use a micro grater, you can pretty much get the same texture as one of those presses. Okay, so tomato, if you've got a large tomato, just use half of it. I'm just dicing it. I appreciate you guys on Instagram can't see. I'll move over in just a second. But I'm just dicing my tomato over here. I've actually gone for a tomato that was getting a little bit softer in my fridge. They're a little bit easier to cook down. So it doesn't have to be 100% firm. This is what your pan should look like. Onions, ginger, and garlic nicely soft. Sometimes in Indian recipes, they will talk about when you add the ginger and garlic, they will say cook until you can no longer smell the ginger, and you can no longer smell the rawness of the ginger and garlic. And so that basically means, you know, just keep going until it's fully cooked. There is a smell of ginger and garlic when it's raw. It's very different when it's cooked off. So yeah, that's a very, very typical thing that you see in Indian recipes. Cook until you can no longer smell the rawness. So we're going to let these tomatoes soften. How is your kitchen smelling, by the way? Because mine smells absolutely incredible right now. Yeah, Steve, exactly. So Steve just said when you're doing your ginger, if you make it into very thin flats in a sandwich bag, then you can snap off shards. It's really easy, but make sure it's nice and thin. So whilst that's happening, whilst that tomato is cooking down, I'll just show you guys over here as well. Just softening that tomato. We are going to get our tomato puree. And in the tomato puree, we're going to add a little bit of water, and we're going to create just like a little bit of a paste. So I want to say roughly around 60 mils or so, about a quarter of a cup. And I'm just going to mix that tomato puree with the water. It's quite a thin paste. This is going to add that nice hit of slight tartness, slight bit of sweetness. This is going to go in. Hi, Kate. How you doing? So this is looking beautiful. There's also still a little bit of oil left to cook the chili, which is perfect. Before I add this paste, I'm going to bring this down to a low heat. And I am actually going to add the chili. This is something that I should have chopped when I was doing the tomato, but I was too busy jibber-jabbering as per usual. So I'm going to bring the heat down on here. If I was cooking at home, I wouldn't need to keep putting the heat down, but when I'm cooking at home, I'm not usually cooking to an audience. So if you've got your chili, I'm just going to do one chili, very finely chop it. And with the other chili, I'm just going to slit it horizontally in half. So when you add in chilies like this, where you're just adding them in halves, it adds a slow release of heat. It's not a very, very intense heat. So if you ever just want to add a little bit of warmth without that overpowering chili, just slit the chilies. And then with this one, I'm going to finely chop it because I want some intense heat as well. So I'm going to go for, this is a finger chili, quite hot but quite spicy. So I always say chili and salt are something that's to taste. So this one's going to have a slight kick to it. So you want to get your chili nicely chopped now. And that's going in. Okay. And we're going to cut this out as well. Once you've added the chili, then we're going to add in our tomato puree paste. Okay. And give this a really good mix. And we're just going to let this all come together now. So I'm going to get this back onto a medium heat. And in just a second, once we see that everything is really nicely cooked, we are actually going to add the spices. So you should be able to see a nice sort of glossy masala come together. It's quite dry. This is delicious with paneer, it's delicious with fish, it's delicious with chicken. If anyone watched the murg masala that I made, I think it was the second cookery class that we did, we marinated the chicken in salt and garam masala. We grilled it and then added it to our masala. The masala was quite different. That was a North Indian style of cooking. But it would taste amazing in this as well. I know a couple of you are, I can't remember who, but I know a couple of you are cooking with chicken again today as well. Great. How are we on YouTube, guys? Are we keeping up on your side as well? So, Leslie, we added about a teaspoon of tomato puree and roughly about a quarter cup or about 60 ml. So if you look at my little bowl here, I added about sort of 3/4 of the way full. So Denise, if you let me know where you're at, we can make sure that you get up to speed before we add the spices. If you can all just let me know. So the tomato puree was 1 teaspoon of tomato puree and about 3/4 of this little bowl, so roughly around 60 mils. We are going to add more water anyway, so don't worry if you think that you've added too much. But you can see now, once you add it in, it dries off very quickly. So just mix that into a paste. If you let me know, guys, if you can pop a little Y in the comments for me. Hazel, yeah, we just popped a teaspoon of tomato puree into the bowl with a tiny bit of water. So roughly around about a quarter of a cup, about 60 mils of water. And we just mixed it into a paste, okay? And that went straight into the pan. So if you can give me a thumbs up, once that's in, just let it dry out a little bit. Give me a Y in the comments. Let me know that, so you guys on YouTube are looking good. This is what your masala should be looking like right now. And over here on Instagram, guys, if you can let me know that, yes, you're here with me. And we'll get Denise back up to speed as well. Leslie, Jackie, Lee, Ed, Zoe, you're all with me. Steve's with me. Yeah, Moira, you came back in Feb. Feels like it was a little while ago now. I guess technically it was. I can't believe that it's now June. That's unbelievable. Okay, so it looks like most of you are with me. So how do you know that this masala is ready? You can actually see a little bit of oil seeping out from the edge of the masala. I can see that it's sort of glistening. That's how I know that, yes, it looks quite glossy, it's glistening. We are ready to go in with the spices. So we're going to come back to our spice box here. And I want you all to put your heat on your pan on a low heat if you can for me, because we do not want our spices to burn. Okay. So what we're going to add in is a little bit of turmeric to begin with. So we added a little bit in our prawns, but we're going to add some more in the masala. We're roughly going to add in about a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Okay. We're going to add in about 3/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, and this is plain paprika, just so you know. So that's going to go in. And then if you want, you can add in chili powder, but I'm not going to. I've added in the marination and also fresh spicy chilies in the masala, so I'm not going to add it in anymore. But I am going to add coriander powder, and this is roughly around 1/2 teaspoon of coriander powder that I'm adding in here. Okay, so that's going to go in as well. So give that a mix. Also going to add in a little bit more salt. We only added a little bit in with the onions, so we're going to add in about 1/2 teaspoon more. The remaining curry leaves are going to go in, and 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. So I'll go over those spices again for anyone that needs me to. So just give that a mix. Okay, so just to go over the spices again, we added about 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, and about half a teaspoon of coriander. We also added half a teaspoon of salt, and we also added about quarter to half a teaspoon of sugar. So the sugar is not going to make the masala taste sweet, but it is just going to help balance everything out, okay? I think you're all with me. Fantastic. So Becky, I added in 1 chopped chili and 1 sort of slit in half. Okay, fantastic. So once you've added all your spices in, we're going to now add in our prawns, or you could add your paneer in, or you could add in your potatoes. Okay, so prawns are going to go in. Lovely. How beautiful do the prawns look? Just the marination is absolutely vibrant. Now we're going to get this up to a medium heat, and we want to cook our prawns. Now the prawns do not take long to cook at all, so I'm going to not add any water yet. I know this looks very, very dry, but if we add water to the prawn dish now, what will happen is it will begin to steam as opposed to fry, and we don't want that. So we just mix this all together. So I've got this on a medium to high heat now. And we're going to let this cook on one side. I'll just check the comments over on YouTube. How are we doing? Hi. Yeah, Stuart from Warrington, all good. Fantastic. Sue's looking good. So we're all good on YouTube. How are we doing on Instagram? Yeah, same with the paneer. If you ever feel that with the yogurt it's catching, you need to add a little bit of water and reduce the heat. Okay, so you just need to be mindful that nothing's catching. So I'm going to give it another mix. For those of you who have used cooked prawns, you won't need much time at all. So as soon as you see that the white, that it, it looks like it's cooked through and it's absorbed all the flavour, you're going to add in about half a cup of water. For those of you that are with me, just hold tight. We want to make sure these prawns are cooked and nice and juicy. So making sure you've got enough oil in the pan really helps. The yogurt will help create a nice little bit of sauce as well as helping to tenderize. And we're nearly there now, so that's the beautiful thing about prawns. They cook so quickly. I'm probably about 60 seconds away. And then we're going to add a bit of water. And we're not going to add too much. This is quite a dry, saucy dish. It's not overly wet. Okay, so now I can see that my prawns are pretty much 90% cooked. They've got a really lovely, they kind of turned from translucent to white, and I'll show you over here as well. We're now going to add the water. Add that water. I'm also going to add the water to the marination bowl first, sort of deglaze that bowl, get all the flavours out from the marination, otherwise it's just a waste. So again, roughly this is about half a cup of water, about 100 mils or so, 120 mils. Now, if you want your prawn thokku to be really saucy, you can add a little bit more water, but this actually is sort of semi-saucy, semi-dry. I'll show you the pan here. So the water's sort of about halfway up in terms of where the prawns are. And I'll show you here as well. So not too much water. And what we're going to do now is just put the lid on this and let them just cook in and absorb that sauce. Just going to give this 30 seconds or so. When you use coriander powder, by the way, this is my homemade coriander powder. And this is just the coriander seeds ground down into a powder. This, when you use it home style, when you grind it down yourself, as opposed to buying coriander powder in a shop, it really has the most freshest zesty flavour. It's really, really lovely. It doesn't compare to shop bought coriander. So if you ever get the chance to get coriander seeds as opposed to buying coriander powder, I always suggest just getting the seeds. If you've got a really good pestle and mortar, you can bash them down. Or alternatively, if you've got a spice grinder or even a coffee grinder will work. It's perfect. So we can see that the prawns have really, this curry's really begun to thicken the sauce. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds and then we are done. But how fabulous does this look? Beautiful. How are we doing, guys? So what was that question? So as long as you cook the spices for about 30 seconds or so, that will make sure that the spices are completely cooked and that they're raw. And then, yeah, you can add the prawns at another time. That's not a problem at all. So how are we looking, guys? Are you where you are with me? I'm just going to give it a very quick taste again. So I'm just going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon more of sugar. Just needs to be balanced slightly more. And this sauce is going to continue to thicken. So I'm actually going to add in a little bit more water because it's going to get thicker and thicker. And I don't want it to be really, really dry. So I'm just going to dilute that out slightly. But look at the colour on this. It's absolutely beautiful. So Matt, half cup's about 120, 140 mils. Moira, if you are going to reheat it, I would sort of half cook your prawns. I wouldn't fully cook them because you don't want them to turn rubbery in whilst you reheat them later on. If you wanted to make this slightly more Korean style, you could add coconut milk in. It tastes wonderful with a little bit of coconut milk. That's quite similar to a Bengali dish that we cook. With a bit of coconut milk, and you can add that in towards the end and just let it simmer for 5 minutes or so. I've just turned this off now and I'm going to give it one more final try. Put these dirty spoons to the side. See if it needs anything else. No, that's lovely. That sugar at the end has just helped to balance. If you ever feel like it's slightly tart, you can add a little bit of sugar. I've just added a little bit extra water as well. Mine's got a nice kick to it. It's really good. We're now going to plate up. If you are with me or if you need me to repeat anything, by the way, guys, let me know. Dina, you just tried the sauce. It's banging. That's classic Dina terminology for it tastes good, by the way. Just a translation for you. I don't know if that's a Brummy thing to say it's banging. I'm not sure. Yeah, so we're going to plate up now. Are we all good on your side, guys? Just scroll over to YouTube. Make sure you're all okay here. I think we are. Cool. Okay, awesome. How are we doing over here, guys? Yeah, Kate, you can add your prawns later on. So that masala works really well for so many different dishes. Just make sure that you try the masala, taste the masala, see if you want to tweak. I always say, yes, you can follow a recipe, but make sure you tweak to your preference. You might want to add a little bit more sugar. You might want to add more heat. You might want to add a bit more tomato. So always tweak, and you can do until the end. It's absolutely fine. We're going to now move this out of the way, and so we're going to plate up. So yeah, whenever you are ready to add the main ingredient, absolutely, you can then complete your dish. But I have completed my dish, and it smells so good. So it's not overly saucy, but there is definitely enough for you to get your chapatis in there and scoop them up. So you can actually eat this with rice. In the South, if they were serving this with rice, they would absolutely use their hands to eat this. So they work the prawns and the sauce into the rice first, and they kind of give it a really good mix, and then they just go in and eat. And it's absolutely divine. So last one in there, a little bit more sauce around the edges. But it just comes together so quickly. You could, if you wanted, if you were serving this at a dinner party, sometimes I grate over a little bit of desiccated coconut. I didn't store any curry leaves extra because I got a little bit carried away. So I'm just going to pop on a little bit of coriander on top just to make it pop. But there, I'll show you guys over here. This is our king prawn thokku, all done. And for you guys over here, king prawn thokku, all done. Looking glorious. Those prawns look juicy and the masala looks glossy, nice and thick. I just want to make some chapatis now. What are you guys eating yours with? Let me know in the comments. I'll just make sure that you're all here with me so we can make sure that you all don't have any questions that need answering. So you've already dug in. Excellent. So Jeffrey, second chili is optional. You can add it in if you want to, depending on how spicy you like it. I halved one of mine and added it in, and then I chopped one of mine. So not too spicy. Denise, yeah, you can taste the whole chili. Kate, you loving it? Good. Great. Yeah, Mike, let me know if you are making it on later on. And for those of you who've made it, if you wouldn't mind posting a picture, I would love to see your recreations. If after this class you still have any questions about the prawn thokku, you know where I am. I'm on Instagram at The Spice Club. I am here on Facebook. Obviously, you guys know where I am, at The Spice Club UK. And I'm also on Twitter at The Spice Club as well. I always try my best to answer all your questions. This recipe will be up on my personal food blog tomorrow, spicediary.com. So yeah, if you just want to see a proper written down recipe, I'll have that there for you as well, so you can catch up in your own time. One thing before you guys all begin to log off, I would just like to say, first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. Another pleasure, as always. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's class. And also, as we all know, lockdown is beginning to end and is beginning to lift. And as a result, I will be going back to my face-to-face cookery classes very soon. With that being said, these live classes have been incredible. I didn't really know what to expect when I first started to do them. I didn't know if anyone would actually watch apart from my mum, but you guys have all turned up. So thank you very much for joining me. I've gained a lot from it, and I hope you have too. It's been really fun to watch everyone's comments and see your photos of your recreations. I never thought that we would be able to develop such a lovely community that we have done on the Spice Club Facebook page of you guys watching the cookery classes. So with all of that in mind, I have made the decision to continue with live cookery classes even once lockdown is lifted. However, I want to formalize it a little bit more. I want to improve it, and I want to make this whole process made by you. I want your input. I want to know how you guys can get the best out of it. So I will be setting up a focus group, and I need your help. So if you wouldn't mind, if you would be happy to take part in the focus group, if you could write the word focus in the comments for me, or maybe put me a DM and say focus, or here in the comments, if you could just put focus and I can just send you a message. So we can start a focus group, and I can make this as as the best quality that I can do for you, and we can kind of formalize a bit more of an online module for you. So please let me know if you're happy for me to contact you about this. We're going to create sort of a proper Spice Clubbers group, but I will contact you. Anyone that does join in the focus group will also be rewarded with a 15% coupon code to use in the Spice Club shop. I do have some spices in there. I have the spice box in there and the homemade Spice Club garam masala. But yeah, looking forward to spending more time online with you. And if you are waiting for the Spice Club Cookery School doors to be open, they will be open soon. Just make sure you're on the mailing list. spiceclubuk.com is the website that you need to go to sign up. I always ask at the end of the class as well, if you wouldn't mind contributing to the online tip jar. There is a link in the comments. They are usually, the funds that are donated are used to fund my isolation lessons. However, this week I will be donating all tips to an amazing charity called Show Racism the Red Card. They are an incredible charity who are working to eradicate and educate children in our schools in the UK about racism. So they deliver anti-racism workshops all across the UK, and they educate roughly around 55,000 school kids every year is something that I feel incredibly passionate about, and they're an amazing charity. So every little helps. So thank you very much. I will start talking now, so you can enjoy your dish, and you can enjoy your Friday evening. And I will see you in a couple of weeks' time on Friday. And yeah, have a lovely weekend. I'll see you next time. Stay connected, guys. All right. Bye-bye. Thanks to you on YouTube as well. Take care, and thank you for tuning in.